Well, first off, everyone in the VC, hope you're having a merry, happy Christmas and that you're with family and having a good time, and that Christmas Eve went great for you last night and today's going just as well, if not better. So, I wanted to show off my Ugly Beetle Christmas sweater, which I'm about to take off here because we've had some nice weather, but it's been in the 70s the last few days, which is not very Christmassy at all. But anyway, just wanted to debut that. Hideous though it is, it's pretty fun to wear. Alright, so hold on a second here while we do the wardrobe malfunction change. And fascinating video there. So here I am back with my Merry Christmas shirt, and I don't know if you can tell, but that's a Welsh Terrier tearing stuff up, which is what they do, and that's what my dog Arthur does. But I love them all the same. So, as I was saying, Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope you're doing well. And I'm probably should have done this a week or two ago, but better late than never, maybe. I wanted to weigh in. I saw that Matthew Street did a video a few days back on his favorite Christmas albums, and I've seen a couple other people do their favorite Christmas songs. So I thought I would just sort of do both. Why not have some fun with it? So we'll start with Christmas songs, and kind of hard to rank because the main problem I have is there are so many Christmas songs that I love. I'm a big fan of Christmas and Christmas songs. I've got tons of albums and CDs and 45s and all sorts of Christmas stuff. But just a partial list of some of the songs that I love: Do You Hear What I Hear, Little Drummer Boy, We Three Kings of Orient Are, Holly Jolly Christmas, Angels We Have Heard on High, First Noel, God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, Good King Wenceslas, Hark the Herald Angels Sing, In Excelsis Gloria, O Come All Ye Faithful, also Adestus Fidelis. We used to have to sing that in Latin when I was in school back in the day. We Three Kings of Orient Are, and so forth and so on and so on. So kind of hard to rank those, and I love them all. And the challenge with those, I guess, is that there's like a zillion versions of them. Just everybody and their dog has done those songs. So, and a lot of them are good, some better than others, but it's just kind of hard to rank. You know, the First Noel, just to take one of the songs out of that bunch that I just reeled off, because there's just so many versions. And I'm a fan. I like the old Christmas music, the Perry Como, Sinatra, Bing Crosby, the 50s and 60s stuff, and some of the stuff 70s and into the 80s. And like with other music, when it gets much past that, I don't have much interest. I've heard on XM they've got several radio stations that play Christmas music every year. I listen to the one that plays the old stuff, like I said, from the 40s, 50s, 60s and all. But I have occasionally listened in on the, I think it's called Holly, the one that plays the modern music Christmas songs. I didn't stay there long because it was pretty awful. But anyway, enough of that. So what I did instead was made a list of, I think it comes to 22 of my favorite Christmas songs, and these are in no order, and all of those things like We Three Kings and God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen and the the religious songs I love, the secular songs I love a lot of them, so I love both. But those are probably among my favorites. But these are a list of 22 songs that I guess I'm calling them unique Christmas songs, because they're ones that there's not a lot of cover versions of, with one exception I'm about to talk about. But Silver Bells or whatever is a great song with a ton of cover versions. But these are songs that are if there are a bunch of cover versions, they're mainly known for one person. For example, White Christmas, million versions, but most people go with the Bing Crosby version. Same with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, another great song. Gene Autry's kind of the go-to version for a lot of people. I think he's the one who did it originally, and I think did it best, even though some other people did it well too. But these are the songs that are a little there aren't a million covers, and if there are a few covers, they're more associated with one person or band, if that makes any sense. So let's start off with an honorable mention. I mentioned Silver Bells, and there's a bunch of cover versions of that, and one of my favorite Christmas songs. This is a band that was around in the 80s. I wasn't a huge fan of, never bought any of their records. I didn't have anything against them. Their videos were fun on MTV, but weren't really my kind of music. But Twisted Sister's version of Silver Bells is a real treat and a lot of fun, and it just rocks out like a you-know-what. So if you got some time today, go to YouTube, look up Twisted Sister Silver Bells. Even if you don't like the band one way or the other, like what I am, I think you still enjoy it. It's a hoot. It's a lot of fun. So that gets an honorable mention. As does Do They Know It's Christmas? Feed the World. Do They Know It's Christmas? Not a great song. Kind of a, it's not going to snow in Africa this year and all that. A little bit silly. More nostalgic reasons for that. When that came out in '84, that was a really good time in my life, and I just have good memories of the song. Not the song specifically so much as just the things that were going on in my life when that came out. So I still have a soft spot for it. I kind of like it. It's not great, but I'll give it an honorable mention. And so now we'll start with the 22 songs, and I think it's 22. I'm not if I counted right. Doesn't really matter anyway. And these aren't really in any order of preference. Some of them towards the end are among my favorite Christmas songs of all time. But these are just songs that it's just not the Christmas season until I hear them. And again, I'm sorry to be making this on Christmas Day, because I don't know how much use this is for anyone that's going to want to go listen to Christmas songs tomorrow on Boxing Day or on December 29th or anything. But maybe if you got some time today, you can look up some of these on YouTube and find some songs you haven't heard before. Some of these everyone's going to know, but you can have some fun with them. So I guess, again, these aren't really in order of preference. I'm just numbered them because I put numbers by them after I wrote the list out. So I start with a song called Ringo Bells, as in Ringo Starr, Bells as in Ding Dong Bells. It's by a group called Three Blonde Mice, not blind, but blonde. This was when the Beatles came out in '64. You got all these novelty records like I Want a Beatle for Christmas and Stamp Out the Beatles and all that good stuff. This was one of those novelty records. It's kind of a fun, goofy, silly little song. It's kind of to the tune of Jingle Bells. It's Ringo Bells, Ringo Bells, Ringo all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride with Ringo in a sleigh. It's silly, it's fun. A typical 1964 sort of girl group sound to it. Good fun stuff. Next one everyone knows, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, Brenda Lee, the definitive version. Other people have done the song, but she did it first. I believe she did it first. She did it best. But also, if you got some time today, go to YouTube, look up the version of that song by Mel, M-E-L, and Kim, K-I-M. Kim is Kim Wilde of We're the Kids in America fame. Mel is not really sure, but they're both British. He's a British comedian. I don't know that he's even still alive, but they made this back in the 80s. It's a cover version of that with the two of them singing together. The video, it's just like a little movie, the video is. I mean, it's just this long, it's like 3-4 minutes long. It's just the length of the song, but it is just hilarious. It's a great version, great cover version of the song. They both do really good. It's funny as all get out. It's a great little Christmas video to watch. So definitely Mel and Kim, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, go check that one out. And Brenda Lee's version, of course, is still my favorite of that. Jingle Bell Rock, which again a lot of people have done. Bobby Helms, I think, is the original person to have done that back in the 50s or so. Just a good hot rockin' Christmas song. Both of those, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree and Jingle Bell Rock, upbeat, good rock and roll Christmas music. Jingle Bell Rock, everyone knows that. I love that song a lot. Next song is The Holly and the Ivy, which is probably a little bit better known in England than here, I'm guessing, even though it's a song that dates back to like the 1700s, an old Christmas carol. Really good, really pretty, really touching and beautiful Christmas song. A lot of people have done that. I'm looking through my notes here to see, but Petula Clark does a really good job of it, and so does Annie Lennox did a version of it, her the Eurythmics. She did it as a solo artist, and Medieval Babes, Babes, do a really good job that makes it sound like something from the 1800s. But The Holly and the Ivy, which is also a great little Christmas movie that doesn't get a lot of attention from back in the 50s or so, but the song goes back, like I said, to the 1700s, and just a really beautiful old classic English Christmas carol. It's Christmas Time by James Brown. Brown does a lot of Christmas music, and it's all really good, but that's one of them that I really like out of that bunch. Sock It To Me Santa, which is by Bob Seger and The Last Herd, which is just a punch in the gut, really rocking, just upbeat. Great video to it too on YouTube, but the song is just fantastic. It's one that unfortunately doesn't get much or any airplay, but it's right up there with Rocking Around the Christmas Tree and Jingle Bell Rock, as far as just even a little bit harder to it, but a positive, fun Christmas song. And yeah, Bob Seger, he got his start back, I guess, late 60s or so. Then in the mid 70s, he got real popular with a bunch of music that I never thought he was boring as hell in the 70s, with all the Like a Rock and Turn the Page and Against the Wind and all that stuff. But he actually made good music before that, back in the late 60s, early 70s, and this dates back somewhere back in there, 69, 70 or something. Little heard Christmas song, but just power packed, full of energy, just a great rockin'. Sock It To Me Santa, Bob Seger, and The Last Herd, Heard, like I heard it through the grapevine, not like herd of cattle. But Sock It To Me Santa, definitely a 10 on the Christmas song ranking there. Next one, Carla Thomas, Gee Whiz, It's Christmas, which is just a upbeat, kind of rocking, soulful pop Christmas song. Also very just joyful and fun and beautiful. It's a take on her hit Gee Whiz to some extent, but it's very good. And it's another one that's a great Christmas song that just doesn't get enough airplay, I don't think, and it should. The next song dates back to the 1500s, and it's Gaudete, which means rejoice. Gaudete Sunday, of course, is the third Sunday of Advent, as we all know. But this is a version that was done by Steely Span, not Steely Dan, but Steely Span. Steely Span, however you say. Good band, great band. This 1973 they did this, and it got all the way to number 14 on the charts in England. But it's a very beautiful, and it sounds like it's just a song dates from the 1500s, like I said, so it sounds like a, I don't know, medieval style Christmas carol. Very beautiful and affecting, and great little religious Christmas song there. Next song, Christmas Ain't Like Christmas Anymore by Kitty Wells, old country singer, which is, I think that might be the only country song I've got on the list here. But beautiful song. It's basically the same sentiment as Blue Christmas, I'll Have a Blue Christmas Without You, which is, I don't have anything against that song. It's okay. I'm not really that big on it or not that big on it. But I really like Christmas Ain't Like Christmas Anymore. Kitty Wells, great voice. And same sentiment I said. I think it gets the sentiment of being alone and or missing someone on Christmas across with a little more impact, and a little bit better song than Blue Christmas, which, and I'm not ragging on that, that's a fine song, but this one's really good. Christmas Ain't Like Christmas Anymore by Kitty Wells. Next up, 2,000 Miles by the Pretenders, which was not on the album. It was a flip side of their single Middle of the Road, if I'm not mistaken. Came out 83, 84. Just a little bit repetitive in the music, but just a beautiful song. Of course, great vocals. Chrissie Hynde, you got one of the best female singers ever. but just a very touching, affecting song. And kind of like Blue Christmas or Christmas Ain't Like Christmas Anymore. It's just being sad at Christmas because someone you love's not there for whatever reason and you miss them. And just very affecting, touching song by Chrissie Hynde and the Pretenders. Beautiful, beautiful song. And again, like I said, these are not in order of preference because I didn't want to sit down and try to figure out how to rank these because I basically love all of them on this list. And some more than others, but basically all of them. Next up, this was a huge hit in England. Doesn't get much airplay in America, but it's a great song. Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues with Christy McCall featured with them. Just a sort of hard edge, gritty Christmas song, which is, you know, you usually want upbeat, fluffy, fun stuff at Christmas, but this is kind of a stark, realistic reality of life Christmas song, but it's also very touching and beautiful in its own way. The Pogues, of course, good band. Christy McCall, great singer, sadly died in, I think, 2000 in a boating accident. She was only 41 years old. She's she wrote, which was a big hit in America, They Don't Know by Tracey Ullman. Christy McCall wrote that song and originally released it in '79 in England. I think it was something of a hit in England, didn't do anything in America. Tracey Ullman had the hit with it in America in 1983. Love Tracey Ullman's version because that's the one I knew. I didn't, you know, never knew who Christy McCall was till 10 or so years later, but I've heard her version. It's really good too. I've heard some of her other songs. She's a great singer in her own right, worth checking out. Sadly, tragically lost way too young, unfortunately. But Fairy Tale of New York is a kind of a tough listen and a stark, gritty Christmas song, but a very beautiful one too. Like I said, definitely got to hear that every year. Another one was a hit more in England, I think, than here. I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day by Wizard with Roy Wood, who of course was in The Move, and I think he was in ELO early on because ELO kind of grew out of The Move. But that's just a fun, just sort of sing along, jump up and down, fun, upbeat Christmas song, and you know, you got to have that for Christmas. Next up, Merry Christmas Baby by Otis Redding. This is a song that a lot of people have done. I've heard other versions that are pretty good, but the Otis Redding version is my favorite and the go-to one on that, and just another great upbeat song. Everything with Otis Redding was, you know, I mean, he could do sorrow and regret and so forth, but he was the best at just doing kind of upbeat soul and just not in a fake plastic way, but in a genuine, real way. Just made you feel good. Him and Sam Cooke had the market cornered on that kind of delivery and that kind of singing. And anyway, Merry Christmas Baby by Otis Redding. You can never go wrong with Otis Redding. Always got to hear that for Christmas. Next one is a little bit of an obscurity. Blue Christmas, actually Blue Xmas, parentheses, To Whom It May Concern, close parentheses, Blue Xmas, To Whom It May Concern by Miles Davis. Miles plays trumpet, of course, and you know, one of the best ever, great jazz musician. And this one actually has something that I don't know if any other Miles Davis songs have. This has lyrics because it's not Miles Davis singing, some other guy, and it's a pointed song, but it's also a very funny song, and it's just sort of attacking the or pointing out at least the crassness and commercialism of Christmas and people that sort of miss the true point of Christmas because they're so worried about going to parties and getting presents and all the extra things that get in the way of worrying about the real reason for Christmas. Next one, another bigger in England than here song, unfortunately, but a great one, is Slade and Merry Christmas Everybody. And like the Wizard song, just to you know, dance around, get you moving, upbeat, great for a party or great for just driving around in your car. Just a fun, upbeat Christmas song. Next song, and this is a bit of a rarity, I think, but it's a great one and it's worth checking out. And I only ran across this one a couple of years ago. It's called Christmas Time Is Here Again. And no, this isn't the Beatles song on their Christmas records. It shares the title, but it's a totally different song. It's by a group called the Flirtations, which is, and this, I think it's from 1968, if I'm not mistaken, 67 or 68. The Flirtations were a group of female singers, sort of kind of in the same vein as the Supremes. So this is kind of a Motown sounding. They're actually on the Durham label, but if you like Motown or Stax 60s soul, you gotta go check out. If you don't, you're really missing something great. But go to YouTube. Christmas Time Is Here Again. The Flirtations. Just a great upbeat Christmas slab of 60s soul music. Just a mind-blowing, beautiful song. Great Christmas song. Happy Christmas, War Is Over, John Lennon. You got to have that one on the list. And like I said, some of these songs I've heard other people do versions of. I've heard people cover that song. I haven't heard anyone else cover it any good. The cover versions I've heard of that song suck, but the Lennon one is brilliant and a go-to. And yeah, he stole the melody from some old Irish song or something, but it doesn't derive from the enjoyment of the song for me. It's just a really great song. It's a stark reminder of what's important, and kind of a typical Lennon in your face. What are you doing to make the world better? But that's John, and we all need that reminder. And it's just a beautiful song either way. On top of that, next up, Christmas Wrapping, which is WRAPPING, like wrapping paper, not like rap music. I think this came out in 82, 81, 82, somewhere around there, maybe 83. The Waitresses, just a new wave song. So it's a great one. It's a girl that's she's not having best of a year, and she meets a guy at Thanksgiving party, I think, and they lose each other's numbers or whatever, and then she's having not a very good Christmas season, and she runs out to the store last minute to get something and buy the world's smallest turkey, and she looks over, and sure enough, there's the guy, and he's in the store to buy something, and so they hook up. Happy ending. Fun 80s new wave song, and I always like that from when it came out. So I always need to hear Christmas Wrapping, and it's just got the early 80s sound that I really love, and it's got the horns and the stop-start music and all, and it's just a great song. It's a lot of fun. And I was thinking that might be the last great Christmas song. I know that there have been the Mariah Carey song All I Want for Christmas and the Last Christmas by Wham became huge hits, and they're standards now, but I don't think either of those songs are very good. They're not, I've heard worse, but I wouldn't call them greatness. But I love this one. This is great. And so that came out in the early 80s, and I don't know that there's been a really classic Christmas song written since then. Not that I can think of. I could be wrong. So where are we? Yeah, it's not Christmas until, I love the Little Drummer Boy song, and a lot of people do great versions of it, but it's not Christmas until I hear the Bing Crosby, David Bowie version of Little Drummer Boy and Peace on Earth mixed together. I love that clip on, you can go to YouTube, from the old Bing Crosby Christmas special of 1977, I believe. I think that's the year he died, because I think he died not long after that, unfortunately. But fortunately, they got to get together, which, back at the time in 77, that seemed like a very strange and odd pairing to put Bowie and Bing Crosby together. 40 years later, it just makes sense. Either way, it's a beautiful, touching song, and it's probably my favorite version of that song, even though there's a lot of other people, Sinatra and other people that do it really well. Joan Jett does a good version of it. Jimi Hendrix guitar version's fun. Anyway, another song, that everyone and their dog does, and that's why I didn't want to pick a lot of these Christmas songs on the list, but I'm going to go with this one, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, which is maybe one of the first songs I ever really tuned into when I was a little bitty kid, even though, you know, obviously I heard songs on the radio and stuff, regular songs and all, but I always loved that song, and it's just so many people do this, and they do pretty much, most of them do it really well, but the definitive version, I love the version from the TV show, which I thought was Fred Astaire singing, but it's actually not. It's someone else. I don't remember the guy's name. I love the Jackson 5's version, and again, it's just not Christmas until you hear Bruce Springsteen's version. I absolutely love that version, and I did a video where I ranked my favorite Springsteen songs a few months back, and I actually put that at number 2. Bobby Jean's number 1, in case you're interested, but yeah, that's my second favorite song of his, and I just love that song, and it's a Christmas classic, and that might be the definitive version of that song for me. Just great, pounding rock and roll version of that. And again, these are some of my favorites as we get toward the top here, but Can't Have Christmas Without the Kinks, Father Christmas, probably, as far as, you know, you got Christmas songs in jazz and classical and pop standard, the Frank Sinatra, Perry Como stuff, soul music, I guess country music, everything. When it comes to Christmas music in rock and roll, I don't think there's a better song than Father Christmas by the Kinks. It's just a stone cold classic. It rocks the roof off, and great song, funny song, poignant song, touching song. I love it. And then what may be my favorite Christmas song of all, I'm not sure, but Linus and Lucy, the da 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 da, the Vince Guaraldi trio from the Charlie Brown Christmas. So with that, I'm going to come back and do my favorite Christmas albums, because this video is already too long, and I will see you all shortly.